Welcome, my name is Robert Adamson, I'm from Strongwater, Anaheim, and today we're gonna go over a fire cocktail. I'm gonna go over safety measures and all those other things like details and materials that you might need, but right now I'm just gonna show you how it's done and then we'll go into that. So today we're gonna use our torch, we're gonna set fire to our 151 rum. We've got an atomizer here, it creates those fireballs. You're gonna watch out, make sure you always point it away from yourself. And then we're gonna do a little cinnamon. There you go, cheers. Now that we've gone through what the fire cocktail looks like, we're gonna go over the materials necessary to make it. So the first thing we're gonna have is a half lime shell. We use 151 proof rum. We have here our cinnamon shaker. Now we do tape the top of it so that the flow of cinnamon is a little bit more controlled. It is important to have a handle because sometimes this will catch on fire. We have our plant atomizer. These things can be found on Amazon. The top is usually pretty replaceable, so don't feel concerned about how often you go through them. They're very inexpensive. But you will go through them, they'll get gunked up with the rum inside of it. Use the proper glassware. Only heat-resistant glassware should be used to prevent cracking or exploding, because that will happen. And then a butane torch. What's important about this is that it has a good distance. You don't want to use a cigarette lighter to set the lime on fire, and you can definitely use a stick lighter if necessary, if that's what you've got available. Also, you're gonna need a metal tray, something that's non-flammable. And then wherever you are, just know where the extinguisher is. If the fire extinguisher is within reach or you've got a spotter, it's really important to make sure that nothing gets out of control. And then we always have a wet towel available just in case something drips or falls down. We can just smother it very quickly and wipe up whatever has fallen. Also, just in case you don't have it, we use a tray jack stand here, but you're welcome to use whatever is available to you. I do recommend that you keep it at a safe distance from your guests. We usually give about 6 feet of clearance. We always warn our guests before we set anything on fire. We let them know that this is about to happen, and it also gives you an opportunity for social media. We usually tell them, hey, switch to slow motion. It's amazing. Safety is the most important thing in doing this cocktail correctly and making the show the best show that you've ever done. What we're gonna do today is just kind of go over some of those features. First thing you wanna do is find your location. Inside your restaurant, there should be nothing overhead like a fire sprinkler that could possibly go off. You wanna make sure that there's nothing flammable around you. Whenever you are setting up, all guests should be aware of what you are doing within at least a 10-foot radius, and you should have at least 6 feet between you and the guest while doing this. The easiest thing to do is tap the guest on the shoulder, let them know, hey, I'm gonna do something that's gonna be a fire cocktail, because the last thing they wanna do is be surprised. Having a spotter while you're doing this cocktail can make the difference between a great experience and a bad one. The spotter can see things that you can't. They can stop guests from walking in. They can make sure that if there is a spill, they can catch it before it gets out of control. Make sure you have a spotter. Now, when setting up this cocktail, the first thing I want to point out is that we're going to be using cinnamon. Cinnamon does travel in the air, and we're going to be using an atomizer. Now, the thing about the atomizer and the cinnamon is knowing where your air conditioning is. And I know that sounds kind of wild, but if the air conditioning kicks on while you're doing this and cinnamon goes into your eyes or the flammable liquid comes back at you or towards a guest, we're going to have a problem. So one of the things you absolutely have to do, and why I've got this cocktail pointed in this direction, is just knowing which way the atomizer is going to go. The minute you go this way, the fire comes towards you. The minute you go anywhere towards the guest, and the fire is going to go towards them. And you catching on fire is going to be a social media nightmare for your company, but it will make you internet famous. The other thing is making sure that when you're allowing cinnamon to come out, it comes out in a good amount. Too much will smother the fire, and not enough will kind of be lackluster. Now, when you're doing this, spraying in the right direction, you're probably gonna burn the hair off your arm a little bit. Just know that it's gonna happen. You are working with heat and you're working close up. And just a reminder, don't wear rubber gloves. That burn with rubber gloves will be 10 times worse than the one that you'll have without anything on at all. So the technique, that's the most important part about this, right? We wanna make sure that we're doing this correctly. So again, we're gonna use our butane torch. We're gonna set a fire to our 150 proof rum inside of our lime shell. Now, just getting used to the atomizer is probably one of the most important things because it creates the most spectacular part of the show. Again, remember you're pointing in the direction away from yourself and away from guests. And as you can see, it can get really big. Now, there are other high pressured style atomizers, which are great, but it turns into a flamethrower. This gives us a little bit more control, and this shorter burst allows for just the big flame, and then it goes away. So as you can see, we're just gonna get used to this. Now the cinnamon part is gonna be the most tricky because as you're creating this fireball, your arm's gonna be in there and you might singe yourself a little bit. Being burnt in doing these types of things is part of the process. I'm sorry that's gonna happen, but do your best. Make sure you're being safe and keep as much distance from you and the fire as possible. Arm length is always a plus. So we're gonna do a couple pumps and then we're gonna shake. Now as you can see, I'm holding this in a manner that doesn't allow me to hold onto the whole thing. This top will catch on fire. Cinnamon's flammable. Again, so just be careful. So we're gonna pump, and then we're gonna pump, and then we're gonna kind of dump. Pump and dump. And we're just trying to create those sparkles. See? Bringing it to each other. Now it's gonna take a little bit of practice. I've been doing this for 10 years. But take your time, do it right, be safe, in a controlled environment, not outside where the wind will catch up, and you're gonna be fantastic. As a reminder, as the fire is going, never add alcohol into an already lit flame. The air that's inside of here is just as flammable as the liquid, and you can turn the entire bottle into a blowtorch, which would be really awful. And also, and I didn't mention this before, sometimes it's best just to have like a little metal cup to put the fire out. Cheers. There you go. All right, how about this? Don't stop shaking, but spray. There you go. Oh, that was nice. Yeah. Very cool.
I'm not getting over is the problem. There we go.
Nice, very good. All right.
And only a few burnt hairs.
That's great. You don't have to
That's
shave.
not bad.
Yeah, bravo.
And then
Use your little metal cup. Yeah, and just tap it out. Nice, man. Good job.